Hey, good people. Welcome to Peep Game Presents live at 5. I'm your man SRD, and I'm waiting for my man Big Mulls to come. He got stuck in traffic. So, meanwhile, started off as we always started off, letting you know that our goal and our mission is to uplift humanity. One person, one family, one neighborhood, one city, and one state at a time. I miss you guys. It's been a couple days since I spoke to you guys. Went to pick up my mom and bring her here, so I got my family here. But I still wanted to take the time out to speak to you guys because what we've been speaking on is to uplift us so that we can uplift fallen humanity, so that we can be the solution to what's wrong in our society. I truly believe that we are the answer that we all have been waiting for. And all we have to do is begin to believe it ourselves and begin to make the necessary adjustments within our personal lives and within our mentality of how we see ourselves and how we acknowledge ourselves, who we acknowledge ourselves as. I have often, since the information of our true nationality has basically fallen into my lap, been battling, debating, struggling with individuals, you know, you all, my people. And I don't want no other people to feel that I don't love humanity as a whole and all people who are on the planet because I do. I love all people who are on the planet. However, the people with the melanated skin, many of who identify as American, African American, Moorish American, Black, people of color, it seems that we are the one in dire need of something different, something new, something that will be able to bring us to a level where we not only begin to respect ourselves more, we begin to gain more respect from the world as well as here in America. Our story is common to us. However, I believe our story is common to those across the world who can be identified as Black, whether they be British, whether they be Jamaican, whether they be Haitian, whether they be Cuban, whether they be Puerto Rican, Guyanese, whatever they are, wherever you're at, and you are considered to be the minority, I'm pretty sure that you struggle with even those of you who know who you are by claiming a particular state. In many cases, you may say country as your nationality, but anyone who feel disenfranchised, whether you claim uh, different, whether you claim a nationality or not, if you feel disenfranchised by the government that oversees you, then I'm talking to you. I'm talking to all of you at this point, especially here in America. There's too many incidents, there's too many mishaps, and there's too much that goes on with us as a people who identify as I said earlier, Black, African American, American, and so forth and so on, where When are we going to actually get tired of feeling disenfranchised? When are we going to actually get tired of feeling like something is off, something is wrong, we're missing something? And if we're missing something, what is it that we're missing? And once we figure out what it is that we're missing, what are we all willing to do to repair it, to make it right? What are we willing to do? And it seems simple, but because of an emotional connection and emotional ties and being miseducated and being indoctrinated, many of us struggle with being able to say, look, I'm here to do what I need to do to make myself first a better person and work on my family next. And then ultimately begin to work in my neighborhood to make my neighborhood better. And once I'm able to make my neighborhood better, make my city better, and ultimately my state better. And once we are able to get to that extent, we will see social change. And the social change, as I've mentioned on other occasions, it's going to come with re identifying who we are and being able to identify ourselves as what our ancestors identified as prior to the so called international slave trade. I mean, many of us operate, and I'm sure I've said this on other occasions, many of us operate from post slavery. Do you ever ask yourself, what were my people prior to slave? What were they about? What did they do? What did they contribute to the world? These are questions that are necessary to be asked in order to get the right outcome of what we're dealing with or what's going on in our society and what's going on with us as a people, as well as some of the things that may affect us individually. I mean, think about it. Think about being a part of a people who were supposedly taken from one country, excuse me, brought to another country, made to do free labor for a particular people for centuries without ever being compensated for that. Now, think about the psychological and emotional effect that that can have on people, not even counting how other people can gain a perception of those people. This is what we, as those who identify as African Americans, Blacks, people of color, Moorish Americans, we have to deal with that and work through that on a daily basis. Without it even being said, it's a perception that comes along with how people identify us as well as how we identify ourselves. Now, let's look at it this way. When it comes to being a Moor or a Moroccan or Moorish, do that same stigma of being brought here by a slave ship and forced to work for X amount of centuries fall into place? Think about that. Think about, here it is, we as a people have an opportunity to reestablish ourselves, reestablish a government by putting together our own constitution, our own state seal, our own flag, yeah, as well as have inaugurations and and choose our three branches of government. We have the ability to do that. Yes, I'm speaking very calmly about it right now, but it's a situation that is urgent. It's an urgent situation that must be addressed immediately, if not sooner. It's necessary for us as a people to be able to do what we need to do individually and collectively without allowing any of our religious beliefs to stand in the way of that. It's fine. We all, or many of us, have a religious background, whether we be Muslim, Christian, Jehovah Witness, or just spiritual. What we all have in common is we all have a nationality that many of us never knew what it was. But now we have the opportunity to reclaim that nationality, to allow that nationality to unify us in a way that haven't been done in centuries. And once we are able to do that, we will realize the tremendous power and value that we all have by coming together as one people. Eventually, sure, we want to bring all humanity in, but before we can do that, we have to start accepting ourselves and reestablish a understanding, a working relationship, a business relationship with all other nationalities without the interference of America. America has interfered with us as a people for far too long, allowing us to, or let me say, prohibiting us to be able to do business in a manner that we deserve as human beings. Our human rights, not civil rights, our God given rights as a people, as human beings to be able to govern ourselves is something that I can't stress enough. And many of us, and I say us because I was included in that as well, are breaking down the doors to try to change a government, the American government, that was never meant for us as a people. Why do you think we have so much difficulty trying to get something that's a God-given right, and that's to be treated equal in all aspects of life? Why do you think we have so much difficulty doing that and have had so much difficulty doing that? Because the government that many of us or look up to was is not our government. I know it sounds far-fetched. I know it sounds strange. I know it sounds like, oh, I want to separate the people. That's not what it's about. What it's about is being able to be on an equal playing field with all other people around the world, to be able to interact on a level where we know that there's a state behind us that have our best interest as a people, as a nationality, as a community, as a nation. And America is not it. It's just not it for us. It's just not it for us as a people. The sooner we realize that, the sooner we can get down to business and start interacting with America from an equal level of state to state negotiations, not individual, not organization, not religion, organization, none of that. We have to be able to negotiate. It's incumbent that we negotiate with America from a state to state basis, having our own Moroccan state. I know many of you probably say Moroccan. Oh, what Morocco is in Africa. I'm American. However, though some of you who will say that you are American, you will also call yourself an African American. So if you can call yourself an African American and you say that Morocco is in Africa, why is it so difficult for you to acknowledge yourself as Moroccan? And short version of Moroccan is Moor and Moorish. I'm heaven bent on pushing this until as many of us, 144,000 or better, get it all across the globe and start enacting on us being able to connect with each other. Imagine being able to reach out to anyone from any country from a state level and set up business ties, set up imports, set up exports without America interfering, without America being able to tell you, oh, you can't do this. This is something that is extremely important for us as a people. We want our families to be better. We want our society to be better. And there are many of you who are out there doing the work, speaking to politicians on a daily basis, hearing politicians lie to your face, telling you, oh, we can't do this now because, you know, our party is not the dominant party. Grant you, these people don't want to do it anyway. The sooner we get it into our minds and hearts and realize that this American government has not and will not ever be for those of you or those of us who acknowledge ourselves as Black, African American, people of color, Moorish American, etc. This government will never meet the obligation that it meets with those whom it is committed to. This government is not committed to us as a people. History has told us that. So, why do we continue to not listen to history and begin to make the necessary changes and adjustments by putting together our Constitution and our state our flag, as well as our state seal, and forming reestablishing our three branches of government? And I know this sounds weird to some of you, and maybe to many of you, but how weird is it to be governed by people that you've heard people say, or you probably said out of your own mouth, they don't, they won't let a Black person do this, or they won't let an African American do this, or if an African American had done this, he would be in jail. Like, for example, having a conversation with my family members and hearing them saying, if Obama had did what Trump did, Obama would be in jail. So why? in good conscience, could you, would you continue to support a government that makes you feel like that? A government that makes you feel like just because you are you, you're not going to get treated equally. It doesn't really make sense, people. It doesn't make sense at all to continue pushing a narrative of being discriminated against because of the skin color. And the realization is you're not being discriminated against because of the color of your skin. You're being ostracized because America and its government knows that you have the right, and not only just the right, the ability to reestablish your own government and to rule yourselves. I know I've said it on a number of occasions for you guys to get to understand, to understand, to overstand that look around the world and look at people who claim a nationality and their nationality is tied to their land and they have a commitment to the prosper of the upliftment of their people. Let's say China, Japan, Germany, all of these places, Russia, all of these places have people tied to them. And some of them have people of melanated skin as us tied to them and are governing us. And I'm pretty sure many of you from those countries feel disenfranchised as well. So our goal is to reestablish the Moroccan Empire. That's our goal. But we have to start individually with really understanding that what we've been called, what we've been told, what we've been taught has been counterproductive to our international and domestic uprising and growth to a better social, economic, and political aspect of being. Politically, nothing is really going to ever be the way many of us see it. There are many of you who are out there that I know personally who are on the front lines fighting the good fight, mind you. However, you're fighting for the wrong team. At the end of the day, you may believe you're American, you are an American, you may some extent or sometimes feel like you're American, but when it all boils down to it, how many American people are fighting what you're fighting? How many American people feel as disenfranchised as you do? And this is no stab against any other people because most of the other people know they come from a country and they can go back to, or we shorten it and say a state that protects them and provides for them. And then they come here and they get protected and provided for as well. We are the ones who, some of us get to be the gatekeepers or get to be the overseers or get the ones to be the ones who manipulate us to keep believing that the system is someday going to change into our favor. And it will. However, we have to be on equal standards because of the scenario of being ostracized or made to believe or taught or accept that our ancestors' only contribution to what they now call America was just being its slaves is not enough for me. I don't know if it's enough for you. And if it is, I feel bad for you. The reality is, we are and always were more than that. And we must not continue to allow that scenario to be played out and be utilized to cause us to feel like we're making progress, to make us think, oh, we're not in chains anymore, so we're making progress. We're not making enough progress as a people. Why? Because we still feel disenfranchised. We're still fighting for equality. And who else is fighting for equality here in America? You have people who can come here in less than 6 years, 6 months, and feel like they're getting all equal rights. And I have no problem with that because they're doing what the government was designed to do. And it was to cater to certain people. And we were among those people. We have to realize that, we have to accept it, and we have to act on what we need to do to change it. The information is out there, people. As I said to many of you who watched, check out the impact study sessions. Start from 1 all on up to 45. And yes, some of them may be long, and you may find yourself not interested at times. Do a little at a time, or put some earphones on while you sweeping the house, or while you washing the car or something like that, or while you cutting the hedges, and listen. Or while you working out, put it on and listen to it. And I'm pretty sure that your perspective of trying to hold up the American government will change. And you will start to realize that having your own Moroccan government and the empire of Morocco will be the best thing for you and your families and upcoming generations as being Moors, and slowly and gradually moving away from acknowledging yourselves as Black, acknowledging yourselves as Americans, acknowledging yourselves as African Americans, acknowledging yourselves as Moorish Americans, acknowledging yourselves as colored people. Gradually, you will start to move away from those, move away into accepting who your ancestors truly were. No, we were Egyptians, sure. We were Egyptians. That's been erased to make us think we weren't. However, what we do have now is documentation to and legal documentation to hold up what we are at this point. Do your history. Since we since the 60s, we've changed so-called nationalities anyway, from Negro to African American, I mean to Black to African American. So let's become who we are and who we are meant to be, and make the necessary changes within our personal selves, within our immediate families, within our neighborhoods, within our cities, by reestablishing state by state until we get all 50 states completed. I was waiting for Big Mulls, and when he's not here, I strive to do a half hour, and we're down to 5 seconds. And it's been a pleasure. And I thank you all for listening. Until tomorrow, I wish you and your families love, peace, and happiness.